Hi everyone, Lordy again, you know the drill by now. Today I've been re-falling in love with a combo that I'd almost forgotten about. I've got an Argus E2 here on top of a Vamo. Kicking out some really lovely clouds, and considering that's a 1.4 ohm coil and the battery is registering 3.6 volts at the moment, although I've got the voltage up to 4.3, I forgot just how nice it was to get really good performance out of a battery even when it's starting to register quite low. But there is something special about this Vamo. I'm going to hold it up here and ask if you can see the difference. Probably not. But this one is a V2 and this is the new version 4. And for this one, yet again, I need to thank Charlie at Charlie's Vape Shop. Charlie, I can't thank you enough for all the support you've been giving me since I've been doing the reviewing. And thank you yet again for sending this on. And guys out there, you need to be sending Charlie a huge amount of thanks too, because this time last week, Charlie was on the steps of Parliament in Brussels protesting the Envy Committee trying to pass their ridiculous legislation to classify e-cigarettes as medicinal products. Charlie does so much for the vaping community, and his success as a vendor and what constitutes a good day isn't whether he's made however much money. It's when someone calls him to say that they were a 40-a-day smoker, they've now got emphysema, and that switching over to e-cigarettes has literally saved their lives. Dog in the background, sorry. Yeah, so vapors everywhere owe Charlie a huge amount of thanks. He's one of the unsung heroes of the community, and he definitely deserves your support. Right, enough gratuitous Charlie plugging. I'm going to go into the table and show you what's new about the version 4, and then come back for some opinions. So this is the first thing I wanted to show you. This one here is the version 2, and as you could see quite clearly on that shot, the size of the juice well is reduced compared to this, which is the version 4. Now, when I used eVods, or if you use Kanga T3s or anything like that, with the version 2 you needed to use an ego adapter, because once you had the bottom around that ego threading, there just wasn't enough airflow to really get a good vape off it. So the new one, the version 4, has got a wider channel, and having used an eVod on it, you now no longer need an adapter to get that to work. What else has changed? Not a lot. As I was showing you before, in terms of the body size, they're exactly the same. This at the moment is just sort of an 18350 mode, but I can show you that, you know, side by side they're both exactly the same. So as I say, at the moment this is set up to take an 18350. Like so. You also get an extension tube with it, which allows you to run either a single 18650, there you go, that's the amount of gap you get at the bottom, or you can stack 18350s. And there you can see that the 18350s run completely flush with the base. So aside from the juice cup, there's no aesthetic differences at all between the two. Okay, so I'll now show you the main thing that's changed on the version 4. If I turn the device on, you can see from the screen that they're using the same, I believe it's an OLED, as is in the Vamo version 3. So in terms of the normal operation, the buttons will do exactly the same as they used to. So push and hold the right button and it tells you the resistance of the currently attached coil. Push and hold the left button and it tells you how much voltage you've still got in the batteries. And as you can tell from that reading, I've got this in stats 18350 at the moment. So to access the menu system, you push and hold both buttons together. I'll forewarn you before I do that though, that the screens do rotate quite quickly, so I'll probably skip through physically before before I'll tell you what the next option is. Oops. So you can change between voltage and wattage. You can choose what the LCD displays when you've got when you activate the firing button. And for the final option, you can actually elect to switch the LCD off altogether in normal operation. So to use the menu system, you push the left button to go into the currently selected option, and use the left button to switch between the options within that section. So let's go for voltage output. The right button just confirms that. So if I now kind of go to alter the volts, you can see, and as with the previous, this goes from 3 volts all the way up to 6 volts, and the buttons operating around robin. Switch that over to power output. What's that on my finger? Bugs everywhere at the moment. Right, so this is in watts mode now. Maximum output is 15 watts, minimum is 3 watts, and you cycle through in 0.5 watt increments. Next, you've got the LCD display, and you can choose to display the resistance of the coil as it currently stands. Oops. Display the remaining battery, or display what power you've currently got it set to. Personally, I like to leave it on resistance, but of course we're all different. So now if I push the firer, every time I push it, it's telling me what resistance I've got. And then the final option, of course, is to disable the LCD screen. So now every time I push it, it does nothing. And that's basically it. So what else is there to say about the V4? My version 2 broke a little while ago, but the output, from as much as I remember it, is pretty much exactly the same. So where the version 4 is concerned, the only things that have really changed are that screen and the size of the juice well that you get in the top, which means that you can use EVODs and what have you without an ego adapter. Is that enough to upgrade from your V4, from your V2 even? I don't know. I mean, some people might think that that's worth it, other people might not. I guess it depends on whether you use ego threaded devices or whether the new screen really does make that much of a difference. The V3 was only on sale for a short time. I believe they are still available and you still can get them from some vendors, but from what I can gather, sales have pretty much bombed. I'm not surprised. I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I'm sorry, that thing was an absolute pig. Just so ugly. The good thing about the fact that they're using the same body chassis, even though you can't help but feel that they were playing it safe on that one, is the fact that you can get all manner of different wraps. You know, I think that with that new screen, a black carbon fibre wrap on that would look seriously sexy. And in fact, I might well end up doing that for myself. So yeah, I don't really see a need to sit here going through voltages and showing you the vape at the different settings. I don't really have anything to test pulse width modulated devices, but the vape experience is so similar to the V2. Is there much point? I really like the Vamo. I'd forgotten how much I enjoy kind of getting a consistent output. I also forgot what I was going to say. That's what I forgot. Yeah, I do enjoy getting the variable output. And like I say, it really surprised me when I put the Arga on here. I forgot just how good a vape it was. And I know that pulse width modulation isn't quite as nice an output as kind of a consistent DC output, but you can get just as good a vape off this as you can off a mechanical, and of course you don't have to suffer those voltage drops that you do at the same time. So the version 2 was cracking value for money. The version 4, exactly the same, is cracking value for money. If you don't already have one in your kit, I'd strongly recommend you go out and buy one. If you've already got a version 2, then I guess it's up to you as to whether you think it's worth the upgrade. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.